Welcome parents to Back to School Night. My name is Mrs. Maynard and I teach 6th grade math, 7th grade math, pre-algebra, history 8, and in the high school I teach Introduction to Psychology from a Christian perspective. I have been here for 15 years. This is the beginning of my 16th year here at Pvca. I have 2 boys who graduated from Pvca. My son Stephen graduated in 2019 and my son Michael graduated with the class of 2020. I'm very happy to be back in school and actually getting to work with the kids, and I'm just looking forward to a great year with all of your young people this year. So thank you for letting me work with them. In Math 7, the students are building upon some of their previously learned arithmetic skills and using those to build understanding of more complex operations and basic algebra, like operations with fractions, decimals, percents, integers, variables, as we get more into the algebraic part of math, etc. So they'll be continuing to learn those skills, the things that we started working on in 6th grade math and we continue to build upon in 7th grade math. They'll be doing math drills most days at the beginning of class, except for testing quiz days. They have like about 50 problems. They have 90 seconds to do it, and just to keep them fresh on their basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division skills. And so we also, throughout the year, discuss God's role in math and how we see him in what we're studying, because God is the God of all creation and he is just ingrained in everything, including mathematics. And so we focus on 4 of God's attributes. There's many, many more that we probably could, but 4 of God's attributes that we really try to point out and think about and ponder when we're in math is his immutability, which is his unchangeableness, and how just like God is immutable or unchangeable, math facts are as well. And we talk about his infinity, how God has no beginning and no end, and just like the number line has no beginning and no end. So that's one little way that we see a little bit of God's character, or some of his of that attribute in mathematics itself. We talk about his orderliness and how that's reflected in math as well. God is a God of order. He didn't create the fish of the sea before he created the sea, because otherwise where would they live? And so just like that's true of God, and he's orderly, also math follows a fixed order of operations so that we are consistently getting the same answers and we're accurate each time. And then the last one that I point out during the year is God's universality, how he is all in one. He is the God of everything, time, place, variance, and size. Just like in math principles are the same no matter what time period in human history we're talking about, no matter what place in the world or beyond we're talking about. 2 times 2 is still 4. And whether we're talking about math principles that govern infinitesimally small things or astronomically large things, they're still the same, just like God is the God of all of that. The students are continued to be encouraged to take organized notes, because in middle school we're still learning how to learn and learning how to be as efficient and thorough and neat as possible, because sometimes just being ready to learn and being neat and organized is half the battle in a lot of cases. So we continue to do that. They continue to be graded on their notebooks, and they're shown and given examples of how to take the notes, how to make sure they have any terms they need to know, how they have the steps that they might need to follow for a concept, and then several examples to illustrate those steps. And so the students can go home at night, and when they're trying to do their homework, they can look back at their notes and hopefully remind themselves, oh yeah, that's how we did that, so that they're able to do their homework hopefully a little more independently. And our grading system for Math 7 is our tests are worth 25%, our quizzes are worth 35%, our homework is worth 20%, the notebook is worth 10%, preparation is 5%, which just means that they show up each day with their book, their notebook, their pencil, and a pen to correct with. So if they show up with those 4 things each and every day, it's 5% of their grade right there. And then the last 5% is their mental math grade, which are the speed drills on addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. In 7th grade math, just like in 6th grade math, they were able to make quiz corrections to get up to half their points back. It allows the quiz to kind of function as a learning tool as well. So things that they didn't get right the first time, they can go back over, they can ask me questions, they can go back to their notes, and they can rework it and still try to use that as a way to learn from their mistakes. And so we do that just on quizzes, not on tests, because tests usually cover a wider range of topics, usually a whole chapter or a whole unit. And so at some point, the grade just needs to be what it is. So for tests, they don't usually get to do again, but quizzes, they can try to get some of those points back and learn from what they didn't get the first time. And at the end of the year, we review all the concepts that we've learned during the course of the year, and we have a review assessment. We take like the last week or so and just go back over everything we've learned so they can see how far they've come from the beginning of the year to the end, and then we take a little review assessment at the very end of the year to just tie it all together. And if your students are ever having any trouble with math, please remind them that extra help is available on Mondays and Thursdays from 2:45 to 3:30. And all they need to do is give me some prior notice. Even if it's that same day, they just say, oh, Mrs. Maynard, I'm going to be staying after today with you, just so I know to look for them after school. So please remind them that if they're ever having trouble, that that's available to them. I'd love them to use that. And so thank you very much, and I look forward to working with your students.